What's up, you sexy fox? It's been a long time, hasn't it? A long time. I don't know how long, but it's been a long time. Yeah, I was kind of debating whether or not I was even gonna do this because it's been so long. And but I figured, why the fuck not? What do I got to lose? A little bit of data till I upload the video. That's about it. And not data storage. Data storage. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I don't even know where to start really because it's been a long time, and I don't remember what I talked about last. So it's just gonna be a free ball. A lot of stuff's happened over the last while. I think one of the last ones that I did was probably after the Battle of the Bands that we won. But that was quite a while ago. When was that? That was in the end of March, and what's today? May 2nd. So yeah, it's been probably over a month for sure. Just got back from Newfoundland a few days ago. Well, I guess it's about a week. It'll be a week tomorrow, I guess. So that was a unexpected, unplanned trip. Was out in Fairmont for Dar's birthday for like the weekend-ish for a while, and found out while I was out there that Nan took a turn for the worse, and shortly after she passed. So I went home for the funeral. Not only for the funeral, but at the same time had found out that Dad had had a heart attack, and then found out that he'd actually had 2 heart attacks, and only just found out about the first one when the second one happened. So yeah, it was a big whole clusterfuck of everything. So I ended up having to leave Fairmont a day early. Luckily, Mom was there, so I was able to take her car over to Calgary and catch a plane from Calgary. And big thanks to Mom because she pretty much fronted the ticket to get home, which is, if you've ever tried to fly to Newfoundland from Alberta or basically anywhere, it's not fucking cheap. It was basically a cool $1,000, and I know that wasn't easy for her to do, let alone for me to do. So yeah, it was the first time home in over a decade. First time home since I left. I think it was bordering on 12 years, at least 11 and a half-ish. So yeah, and then trust me, there was no vacation aspect of it really. I was constantly full tilt between the funeral and then back and forth to the hospital a whole fuck ton. But Dad seemed to be it kind of sucked because it sucked for Dad especially because he was in the hospital the whole time waiting to get the dye test to check out blockages or reasoning for the heart attack. But yeah, Nan's funeral was beautiful. Couldn't have expected any less, really. Funny story. I guess like a few years back, she actually went and picked out her casket, and not only picked it out, she got in it to test it out, and made a request to change the pillow because she didn't like the pillow. She said, "This is an old pillow. I want a new pillow." So, in the dark times, there's always funny. But yeah, it's she suffered from Alzheimer's, dementia, and I hadn't talked to her in quite a while, probably a few years, couple years for sure. And I remember the last time that I talked to her, like me and Nan were like that, and she didn't even know who I was. So that was really hard for me, and that was kind of when I knew she was gone. But nevertheless, seeing and dealing with the funeral, it was rough. It was a rough time. But that's how life goes, and she's in a much better place now. I can only assume and hope. I don't necessarily follow the church idea, but I definitely think there's an afterlife. Not quite sure if it's just whatever. I'm not going to go too far into that, but anyway, at least she's not in pain and suffering anymore, and so that's good in my mind. But yeah, so other aspects of the trip, there were definitely a few pluses. I got to have Greco pizza, which was my favorite pizza, and still is my favorite pizza of all time. I was a little bit worried that I might have all that time away built it up to be something it wasn't. I did not. It more than redeemed itself when I went back. Because you get these party pizzas there, and they're probably I can't fit my arms in here, but they're big rectangle pizzas, and they're cut in little squares, like probably about that big. Anywhere from 24 or 32 pieces or whatever. And my God, they have the best sauce in the world. But anyway, so I once we had dealt with some stuff and whatever else, I was at my Aunt Shirley's, and she said that she was going to get a pizza. I was like, all right, perfect. I was like, I'm going to fucking mow down. And I had 3 or 4 pieces, and she said I couldn't have any more because we had to wait and see for other people to come and if they wanted some pizza. So I was like, okay. And so we stuck around there for a little while, and I ended up bringing Dad was out at that point. Ended up bringing him back to the hospital, and my sister happened to be out for the funeral as well. So after I dropped Dad off, the first thing I went to do was go to Greco, and I ordered 2 party pizzas for myself, and ate them over the course of a couple days. I didn't totally binge on it, but I mean, I ate almost a full one in that first day, and it was really funny because I was talking about it, and they had a special on for the Greco Works, which is basically the Works minus like gross stuff like fucking dinky tire, fucking olives and shit like that. They don't, whatever. But so he was talking about, oh, will the toppings be will that be good for everyone? Are they okay with that? And I was like, everyone? What the fuck are you talking about? I was like, this is for me. And I was like, it's been fucking over a decade. This is for me. I'm keeping them in the trunk, and if I need a slab, I'll go back and get it. So anyway, he got a good chuckle out of that, and so yeah, I ended up eating the majority of 3 pizzas while I was back there, 3 of those big ones, and also checked out one of the old spots where they used to sell the big slices, Donini's. I had heard things that they had really gone downhill, but it seems they fucking got the shit together, so it was actually really good as well. So I was happy to see that. More expensive than it was when I was a kid, but everything is. So yeah, needless to say, I ate a whole fuck ton while I was back home, between that and cooked dinners, family dinners and shit like that. I think in the first 4 days I put on about 10 pounds, and by the time I came back, I had gained, I'd say 15, 17 pounds for sure. And I even tried to get down to the gym there, the local YMCA, because I knew that I'd put on so much, and I tried to at least burn some of it off. But I only managed to get down there one day because, like I said, I was just fucking full tilt the whole time. But I think I'm getting gradually back down to where I was. I couldn't get over the fucking the water retention when I came home. I noticed it on, I think it was about the last day there. The water retention was retarded. Like, I just felt swollen. Like, I don't know if I've ever told you the kidney stone story, but I had a kidney stone at one point, and it was a monster. It was like a little bit bigger than the tip of my pinky. 11 millimeters. But anyway, so the only thing I can compare it to is when I was in the hospital for that, and they had me, hooked up to the IVs and the morphine and whatever, and like, that swollen, bloated, just joints feel gross, all full of fluid type feeling, right? I don't know why. Maybe it was all the pizza. Maybe I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, it felt super gross, at least the first couple days for sure. But seemed to be getting back to my normal self now, so that's good. But yeah, overall, like, I mean, I had, considering the circumstance, I had a pretty good trip. Full tilt, there was definitely no fucking break, because I was constantly on the go. But it was really nice that I got to connect with my, I guess you could say, great uncle Harv, that I had only heard about, because he was always down in the States working and whatever else. So I honestly didn't even remember him. I probably met him once, twice when I was a kid, or a few times when I was a kid, but like not at that age where I would remember him. And so it was nice to connect with him. I stayed with him and my Uncle Bob, Dad's brother, pretty much the whole trip at Harv's place. So, and we had a great time. It was like we were the Three Musketeers, right? And yeah, so I mean, every night was a super late night because Harv's a big hockey guy like me, and so we watched, it's playoff time too, right? So we were watching basically almost every playoff game, if not every playoff game while I was there. And Newfoundland is 3.5 hours time difference, so like for the Oilers games, I mean, they didn't start till midnight most nights. So you can imagine, late nights, a lot of booze, a lot of food. It's no wonder I put on so much weight. But yeah, no, it was great, and like never really spent a whole chunk of time like that with Bob either. So that was great. It was, we made the most of it for sure. And because, well, I mean, most of my friends and people I grew up with and whatever else, most of them were gone. I got to connect with my buddy Dave Byrne, who honestly I hadn't really spoken much to in person since we were little kids, because they were our neighbors, right? So yeah, it was nice. I got to meet up with him and and whatever else, and actually chat with him. And, got to see Nan and Jess, which was really nice because I haven't seen them since the wedding either, really. They were nice enough to come pick me up, and because the flights get in super late or early, however you want to look at it. So they picked me up in Gander at what time was it? It was like 4 or 5 in the morning, or like 3. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, they picked me up super early in the morning. Actually, no, I think it was like 1 o'clock. And then same thing, they dropped me off. Dropped me off there when I left, and it was same thing, super early in the morning. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock, I think, 3 or 4 o'clock. So yeah, big thanks to them too. And yeah, and I got to see my buddy Alex. One of the old guitar players in the band, and longtime good friend. Hadn't seen him since he moved down from Alberta, which was probably 7 or 8 years ago for sure. So like, I mean, I made the most of the trip. It was nice to see Jess too, because I haven't seen her like in person probably since the wedding, so it's been a few years. Got something stuck in my throat here. But yeah, and then got home. It was really hard to be gone, to be away from the kids and the wife and whatever else, but had to be done, right? What else can we talk about? Fucking Oilers have been doing awesome. The last couple games left quite a bit to be desired, but they're up 2-1 on the Ducks in the second round. So, I mean, a lot of people I don't think even expected them to make the playoffs, or if they did, to squeak in, and they did really fucking well. So, yeah, it's been a fucking hell of a ride watching them. I did pick them and Washington to go to the finals. Washington is down 2-1, but they just got one last night. So, as much as, and this is kind of the fucked up part, I mentioned before how I don't hate Crosby anymore, and what happens? He gets fucking hurt last night. I did want Washington to win this series, but fuck, man, if you've seen the hit, if you're a hockey fan at all, I'm sure you've seen it. Like, holy fuck, that was rough, man. Like, I mean, it looked like he took 2 sticks. If you watch closely, it looked like it was 2 sticks to the head, and then, like, when he was coming in on a break, you've probably seen 2 sticks to the head from Ovechkin, I guess. Totally unintentional from what I can tell. You know, that's a controversy in itself. And then kind of slid into another guy who was just kind of like this, and slid into his stick, and, you know, he got ejected and whatever. But I think the more you look at it, the more you realize that it wasn't a dirty hit. It's not like he tried it. That's how I see it anyway, and I think it's how a lot of people see it, but I'm sure there's lots of people that would disagree with me. But, yeah, and so now it turns out he's concussed, and coming from a fan of a guy who got concussed a whole fuck ton and it basically ruined his career, I hope he's okay. Because as much as a beef as I've had with Crosby in the past, he's easily one of the top 5 players for sure. You know, it's debatable if he's the top player or not. And, like, has just, you know, put fucking Pittsburgh on his back. Basically his whole career, right? Like, I mean, Crosby's always been a superstar, and he always will be a superstar. I just hope that he doesn't go the way of Lindros. Like, I mean, it's not quite the same player, obviously, but I don't want to see him get fuck his head up too bad, you know. Like, don't want to see him fuck his head up at all, but I know he's already had some concussion trouble. So hopefully this doesn't fuck his career too much. Like, I mean, he's only 30, I think. So, you know, you would hope he at least gets to play 35, you know, 38, like a lot of players do. Especially with that skill talent, you can see. Like, I mean, if he can stay healthy, like, there's no reason I don't see why Crosby couldn't play into his 40s. But yeah, so hopefully he's okay. Also seen they lost another guy the same game, fucking Connor Sheary, who's been playing really well for them. Well, he has over stretches anyway. I haven't kept tabs on him. I'm not obviously not a big Pittsburgh guy, right? Flyers and whatever, but yeah, it's rough to see them have to deal with that. You know, I like to see teams healthy. I like to see people healthy, but that's the way the game goes sometimes, right? The other 2 divisions totally fucked my predictions altogether. Like, I picked Ottawa to beat Boston, but I didn't pick New York to beat Montreal. So I actually picked Montreal beating Ottawa in the next round, but that's not how it's going to go. And I would definitely pick Ottawa to beat New York. So I hope they can at least keep that up. It's not part of my bracket, but I hope they can keep that up. I did not see fucking Nashville coming out and fucking sweeping fucking Chicago. That was a total surprise because I picked Chicago, and didn't see the Blues beating Minnesota either. So that one's a total toss-up. I think if I was going to cheer for a team, I'd honestly probably cheer for St. Louis, because I think that the Oilers, if they can move on, which I think and I hope they will, I think St. Louis would be a better matchup. But I think Nashville's too good of a team. I don't think they're going to be beat by St. Louis. But I guess we'll see. That's the joy of the playoffs. Everything's a fucking, it can be a surprise. It can be super exciting. Kudos to Toronto for putting up such a good fight against Washington, because that was a fucking epic series. I would not be surprised to see Toronto and fucking Edmonton in a final in the next couple years, next 2 to 3 years, at least 5 years for sure. I definitely see the two of them meeting up, or at least no, you know what? I see both of them meeting up at some point, and I think it would be one of the most exciting fucking series you'd ever see. I think if Pittsburgh beats Washington and Edmonton can make it, I think that would probably be the most exciting series you would see in a final right now with the teams that are left. Because St. Louis and Nashville, they're kind of a bit more shutdown teams. Edmonton and Ottawa would probably be good, but I think the speed matchup between Pittsburgh and Edmonton, I think that would probably be the most exciting if I was going to say anything about that. But anyway, so that's hockey. Oh yeah, there is a couple other things I want to touch on. Eberle got to get his fucking shit together. This will be really quick. Eberle's got to get his shit together. I had high hopes for him in the playoffs. He has not produced at all, and I'm super disappointed in him. Fucking shape up. Hopefully Talbot can bounce back from this last game. That's the only other thing I had to say about that. Get Cassian up there. Get Eberle down. That's what I would do. But I mean, obviously I'm not a GM, so yeah. Okay, other stuff. We are working on a huge fucking set. We've been in the band, Days Alone. If you haven't checked it out, just go daysalone.ca and you'll find everything. So yeah, we're working on a double set. Got a 4 or 5 new covers that we're going to throw in there as well, into that set. I'm not going to tell you what they are, in case you're wondering, but I think a lot of people will recognize at least most of them. And so yeah, we're pretty excited about that. Just in the early stages here now, because our double set's not till next month. But yeah, just working out the kinks of the main parts, and then kind of, because we like to do our own thing with covers and kind of spice them up in our own style. So yeah, so we're working that out. We focused on 2 of them yesterday. That was the most recent jam, because it was a bit of a stretch where I was gone with Dar's birthday, and then going down to Newfoundland or whatever. So it was a bit of a stretch between jams, but yeah. So we got a whole bunch of that going. The show for look, there's a cop there waiting for people. The show for May 12th and 13th, the one that was supposed to be for the Scorpions tribute band, got canceled. Then we were told that there would still most likely be a show on the 13th at the Tracks, but never did hear back. The last I heard was back in April 7th, and I've been sending a lot of messages, and that's kind of seemed like it's been falling on deaf ears. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it looks like, well, I mean, it's 1st of May now, so it looks like that show is not going to happen. Which kind of worries me, because I mentioned before about having a show swap. So show swap sounds like shoe swap, but because we're going to go down to Calgary in June, and then at the end of June we were going to have that band come up here. But now that we haven't been in contact with the guy who's setting it up, I don't know if that show is going to go ahead either. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. hopefully something can get straightened out, but it's not looking good for that. And also still haven't found a second show for that June weekend down in Calgary. We were hoping to do a full weekend of it, but it hasn't seemed like it's worked out. So if anyone's got a line on a show, I believe it was June 13th, like that weekend in around there anyway. It was, we were looking for a Saturday show because the show we have is at Vern's Tavern on Friday. So yeah, we're looking for that, and we're looking forward to the another fucking cop there. We're looking forward to the Friday show there at Vern's, because I mean it's always cool to play a new venue, let alone in a new city. So what else? It's not really anything crazy in politics or anything like that I don't want to talk about. Everything's always fucked there anyway. I don't think I got anything else. I kind of thought this was going to be a longer video because it's been so long, but I think that's about it. Yeah, that's it, I guess. All right, love you, Fox. Have a good one. Be good to yours. I love you.